the thing. Most entrepreneurs will come in and say, my sleep is fine. And I want to work on the sexy stuff, which is give me a diet
Oh,
plan, tell me the exercise. Like that's what we think fitness is, right? But
yeah.
I think like those things are important. But what I think is lacking in just the self-care space in general is focus on resilience and
Mm.
our ability to build our capacity to the ebbs and flows of stress that come with business. Because I mean, we all know the story of the entrepreneur that ends up in burnout. And when I really start to use the data, what I'm able to show my clients is like, hey, if you do these couple small things, notice how that affects the data and in turn, how that affects your business. And the data that I like to focus on is a lot different than the data we're used to getting from wearable trackers. Like we're used to like closing the rings, getting the steps, all the things on the watches where I like to focus on data that supports recovery and resilience because I think as entrepreneurs, I think for the most part, we're very driven, focused, we move forward. But where we lack is that ability to be able to give ourselves permission to rest or
Mm.
know that not all time has to be productive. And so teaching us how to slow down so that we can get more out of the hours we do spend in our business.
Oh my God, I love this so much. So I was just telling you that I'm off on a holiday to Canada in a week, and I literally have my 7 days left before I leave list. And I currently have this crazy like neck pain, and I think the two are related. I think I'm like trying to force myself to be as productive as I can in the next 7 days. And I'm like, I literally sat down last night and I'm like, I think you are just piling so much on your plate for no reason. And all of the things on this list will be there when I get back. It's not like it's all self-imposed urgency. And like having that physical reaction, I was like, wow, I think like we can't separate ourselves from our business. We really do have to give ourselves that time to rest and recuperate so that we can. I love how you just said that so that we can actually be more productive in the time that we're working.
Right. And I always think like let's say you spend 6 hours at your desk. Like, wouldn't it be nice if you could get that 6 hours of stuff done in five? Because we've all done that
Oh,
thing where like you're like, yes, emails at the end of the day, because that's all I have brain power for. We just plan for the energy crash instead of questioning, like, why am I accepting this as normal? Like, this isn't normal. And so it's so fascinating. And I that's here's the thing. If we start with things like exercise and food, like that's all great.
yeah.
But like, what is coming off your schedule to make time for that? And most entrepreneurs are like, no, I'll jam it in. It'll work. And
Oh
my
yeah, I now work on the treadmill. I'm
of
like, I
course,
combined it too.
you're like, I can do it all. But what I like to do instead is really think like, okay, well, what if we just got your brain working better? Because I'm a believer
Mm.
that your brain is the best asset you have in your business. It is way more important than your products, your services, your whatever it is. Because without your brain, you probably can't perform those services. You can't be a visionary. You can't execute on anything. You can't be creative. So I protect my brain because if I can be clear and focused instead of foggy and lethargic, and I can get through my days of stuff in 5 hours instead of the 6 hours usually. Now you have this hour at the end of your day, and you could continue working, or you could put your exercise there. And this is how I like to start creating space for health. It's about creating systems. If you can get your brain working better, it frees up time to do the other stuff instead of cramming it all in this perfect plan. We get 2 weeks, everything blows up, we quit again, and we're like, why can't I do it? I've never been able to do it before. What's going to make it different this time?
Oh my God. And I love that you just said that as well, because I feel like we've all tried. I feel like
Mhm.
we've all really tried to rest and do good things for ourselves and look after ourselves and tick the self-care boxes. But I think it's all been based on, yeah, what is self-care? Running a bath because I'm so burnt out and sitting in a bath for an hour and reading a book isn't going to fix the however many years I've been like thrashing myself at work.
Right. And on top of that, like that's I think what's missing. Like you go on Instagram and you see self-care and you see the bubble baths running and you're like,
Yes.
I've got toddlers. There's never a bath in peace anymore. There's nothing relaxing about that. So I think the conversation really needs to be like, okay, when I'm in the moment and someone decided to leave a nasty comment on my YouTube channel or whatever it is like that, and I'm spinning, or a client sends me a message and I'm spinning, and those days when you lose half the day just to spinning out, you just can't ever get back into it. Like, I think what we really need is to build our resilience in those moments and understand, like, okay, I'm spinning. What can I do to bring my brain back online? Because I'm not
Yes.
hopping in a bubble bath at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I've done that. Let me tell you, it
No,
doesn't
yes,
fix it.
some
It
of us
doesn't fix
can for
it.
sure. But I don't think that's the default. You're like, I should
No.
probably eat my way out of this, or I should
Oh
probably
yeah.
overwork my way. Like, that's not our default response, is like, maybe I should care for myself. It's usually like, how do I get rid of this terrible, terrible feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Or I can work through tears. That's fine.
Yeah. And you're just like, this email sucks. Like, you're trying to perform. I don't like those days. So I've like really leaned into like building up our resilience so that we don't fall apart. And it's not just those type of things. I mean, like
Yeah.
maybe you had a kid that was up all night sick, or your dog threw up all night, or XYZ. You had an unexpected consult that popped on your schedule or something like that.
Mhm.
Through your day off, like, how do you have the mental resilience and the energy to be able to redirect back to the plan?